Hello, everybody. Before we move on to the topic for today, I want to thank you guys for helping me reach 1000 subscribers. Honestly, this wouldn't have been possible without your love and support. So, thank you so much for that. And today, it's the topic for today is basically on a special request by a student. And this was about pro forma business documents. So, this word seems to be very odd for a lot of students. So, if you Google this word, like the meaning of this word, you will find out something that it is an already produced document. So, we have many business documents in accounting, and in the exam, if they say they can give you a pro forma business document, so it's an already produced document that will be given in your paper, and you need to answer questions related to it. So I have taken out a few questions from IGCSE past papers where they have already given you a document, and we need to answer questions related to that particular document. So here, this question is from October-November 2019. It's paper 1, variant 1. And it is obviously from IGCSE because 0452 is IGCSE accounting code. And it is question number 2. So it says Aisha is a retailer. She buys goods on credit from Kadir. So Aisha is the buyer, Kadir is the seller. Kadir is a wholesaler. They exchanged several documents during September 2019. So September is the month. They are saying the following incomplete document was issued on 18th September 2019. They have given you this document. On the top, it says credit note. So you guys are familiar. Credit note is one of the business documents that we study in accounting, O levels. So yes, like I have also discussed this in one of my videos on business documents, but I'll tell you guys again. On the top, it is the issuer's address. So in this case, Kadir is the seller and Kadir is also an issuer here. So on the top of it is the address of the issuer. And obviously, because we established this, that Kadir is the seller. So Kadir is also the seller, also the issuer of this document, because you guys should know this, that on the top of the document, whether it's an invoice, whether it's a debit note or it's a credit note, the issuer's address is on the top of the document. So Aisha is the person who's receiving the credit note here in this case. And credit note, they have given you some missing values in the credit note. They say here quantity is 70, and the description is suits assorted sizes, and means different sizes. And then we have a unit price. So we don't know the unit price, but we know the total amount here. That is 4130. Then they're saying less 20% trade discount. They have again give you an unknown value here. They're then saying reasons for issue is correcting overcharge on goods supplied on 4th September 2019. So I'll go into a bit of the theory related to it. So you guys should know that there are two documents that are used when exchanged between a buyer and a seller. When, let's say, the buyer wants to return something, okay? So the buyer finds that some goods are faulty and he or she wants to return those goods to the seller. So in that case, the buyer will issue a debit note and request the seller to reduce the amount of the original invoice. So in this case, a debit note is issued. So a debit note can be issued for 3 reasons. They have given you for any shortages, for overcharges and faults. So like right now, when I gave you an example, that was an example of return outwards, purchases, returns. When the buyer wants to return goods, they would issue a debit note first. They would request the seller to reduce the amount of the invoice. In this case also, Aisha must have issued a debit note first. In response to Aisha's debit note, Kadir is issuing a credit note. Okay, so what happens is that here in this case, it's an overcharge. And the credit note says that the reason for issue is correcting overcharge on goods supplied on 4th September 2019. So Aisha was overcharged because of that. Aisha must have issued a debit note. In response to that, Kadir issued a credit note. So you guys should know, okay, debit note is merely a request and it is not recorded in any books of prime entry. They are saying here a debit note is merely a request to the supplier to reduce the total of the original invoice. So before, when Kader sold goods to Aisha, at that time Kader overcharged Aisha for some goods. So now Aisha is requesting by issuing a debit note, and then they have given you credit note in the question, which is issued by Kader to confirm that Aisha's the amount that has been overcharged has been reduced from her original invoice. So here, if you look at the credit note, so they're saying credit note is when goods are returned, reported faulty, or where there has been an overcharge on an invoice, the supplier may issue a credit note. So in this case, supplier is Kader. He's issuing a credit note. As with all documents, each business has its own style of credit note, but they all contain the following information. This you can find in the credit note that is given in the question as well. So that's it. Now what I'll do is I'll try to solve the question here for you guys so that you can understand how you will have to deal with the pro forma document, and then answer questions related to it. So here they're saying insert the missing figures in 1, 2, and 3 in the above document. So yes, we can do this easily. The thing is that we have been given quantity and we haven't been given unit price. But if we were given unit price and quantity, we would have done this, right? So quantity multiplied by unit price gives me the total amount. So here they have given you quantity, that is 70, unit price is X, total amount is 4130. When you do here X is equal to 4130 divided by 70, you get X is equal to 59. So $59 is the unit price. So I'll write here $59. Then they're saying less 20% trade discount. So 4130 is the amount. And when you multiply 20% with this, you get always, and percentage of trade discount is always applied on the amount. So here the total amount is 4130. And then when you multiply 4130 with 20%, you get a value of $826. So trade discount is 826. And when you subtract 4130 minus 826 will give you the final value, that is the third missing figure here, and that will be 3304. So that is it for the pro forma document. That is how you have actually filled the missing figures in the document. Here they're saying name the person who issued the above document. You will say Kader issued the above document because Kader is the seller. Credit note is always issued by the seller in response to the debit note that was issued by the buyer. So yes, state suggests one reason why a credit note may be issued other than correcting an overcharge. So I just did that with you guys, that when the buyer returns goods that are faulty, in that case also a credit note will be issued. Okay, yes, so faulty goods, when the buyer is returning goods, at that time when the buyer is returning goods, the buyer will issue a debit note, the seller will issue a credit note. So when the buyer returns goods that are faulty, in that case also a credit note will be issued by the seller. So yes, then they are saying state why it is necessary to deduct trade discount on the credit note. So the thing is that if there was a discount applied at the time of sale, so when the seller has given a discount at the time of sale, trade discount at the time of sale, so the invoice will also have a trade discount subtraction. So if those goods which were overcharged, if trade discount was applied on them initially at the time of sale, so trade discount should also be applied to them at the time of the issuance of credit note. So if the trade discount is there on the original invoice, trade discount should also be on the credit note. So you guys will write here, the trade discount was also deducted on the invoice. The trade discount was also deducted on the invoice. Okay, so you guys will write here the trade discount was also deducted on the invoice and therefore it should also be deducted on the credit note. Okay, then they are saying name the book of prime entry in which each trader would record the credit note. So this, you guys should know that debit notes are not recorded in any books of prime entry. However, credit notes are issued by the seller, right? So if the credit note is issued by the seller, for the seller, when the goods are coming back or when there's an overcharge on the invoice of a buyer, so in that case, the buyer is going to issue a debit note. So the buyer, from the buyer's side, it's purchases returns. From the seller's side, it's sales returns. So in this case, Aisha, because she's a buyer, so Aisha will use purchases returns journal or daybook. Daybook is the other name. So you write here purchases returns journal. And the book of prime entry that will be used by Kader will be a sales returns journal. That's it. Okay. Then they are saying on 1st September 2019, Aisha owed Kader 3,400. This is the balance brought down on Kader's account in Aisha's ledger. So Kader is a trade payable, Kader is a liability, and this is basically a balance brought down. Then they're saying during September 2019, Aisha and Kader exchanged the following documents in addition to the credit note. They're saying September 4 invoice for goods 8960. Invoice is always issued by the seller, but there you're asking that where will Aisha record this, in which book of prime entry. So if Aisha is buying in this case, because Aisha is the buyer, Kader is the seller, so Kader will issue an invoice, Aisha will receive an invoice. So when Aisha receives an invoice, she will record this in the purchases journal. Okay, then they're saying debit note. So on September 13, Aisha is actually issuing a debit note because she's a buyer. Buyer issues the debit note. They're saying 3540 claiming overcharge for goods supplied on 4th September. The amount that she is claiming is 3540. Interesting thing here to note is that Kader accepted 3304, not what Aisha asked for. Aisha asked for 3540. So what she is asking for is not going to be important for your recording of transactions, because debit note is merely a request. So the buyer cannot buy. It is possible that the buyer does not accept everything. So in this case, the buyer isn't. The buyer is only accepting 3304 as an overcharge, not 3540. So in that case, debit note will not be recorded anywhere. So I'll write here no entry, debit note is not recorded anywhere. There are two business documents which are not recorded in any book of prime entry. One is a debit note, the other is a statement of account. Then they are saying check to settle balance outstanding on 1st September. Less 2% cash discount. Obviously, checks are used for payments. So when Aisha is giving a check to Kader, in that case, Aisha is the payer, and obviously this will be recorded in the cash book because Aisha will record this payment in the cash book, and cash book is one of the books of prime entries. Then they are saying statement of account, you'll write no entry because statement of account is not recorded anywhere. It's not recorded in any book of prime entry. In the next part, they're saying prepare the account of Kader as it would appear in the ledger of Aisha for the month of September 2019. So if you think as Aisha, for Aisha, Kader is a trade payable. Kader is a liability for Aisha. So you need to make a trade payability account here. So I actually give my students always a fixed format for a trade payable account. So what you do is that trade payable, because trade payable is a liability, liabilities have a balance brought down on the credit side. So here I'll write 1st September 2019, of course, and you'll write here balance brought down. And you guys know this from the question that balance brought down here is 3,400. They have given it to you here on 1st September 2019. Aisha owed Kader 3,400. So I'll write here 3,400. And then they are saying invoice for goods is issued 8960. So Kader issued the invoice of 8960, and obviously Aisha received the invoice. And in that case, obviously double entry will be purchases debit, Kader credit. So you need to record this on the credit side of Kader's account. You'll write here purchases and you'll write here 8960. And this will be, the date will be September 4. So I'll write here September 4. And then September 13 debit note is not recorded anywhere in accounting. So you will not record this September 13, but I will record this September 18. That is a credit note that is issued by Qadir. Credit notes are recorded, and credit notes, whenever they are recorded, you'll write here purchases returns, and you'll write here 3304. That is the amount on the credit note, because the amount on the credit note is important, the amount on the debit note is not important. You'll write here September 18th. Then they're saying September 27th, check to settle the balance outstanding on 1st September, less 2% cash discount. So 1st September balance is 3,400. If you take out 2% of 3,400, you will find out that'll be $68. So I'll write here bank, and I'll pay, basically Aisha will pay Qadir in this case, 3,400 minus 68, that'll be 3332. This will be September 27. And then what Aisha will do is that she'll need to record discount. So this is discount received. Whenever we are getting a discount from our supplier, you'll write here discount received, and you'll write here 68. And this will also be September 27. And the last transaction here, statement of account showing a closing balance of 5656. So when you calculate the balance carried down in this T account, you will also end up with 5656. Because if you calculate the balance here, 3,400 plus 8,960 minus 3,304 minus 3,332 minus 68 gives you 5656. This will be your balance carried down. And this will be September 30. And then you will balance this T account at 12,360, both sides. And then this balance carried down will of course become your balance brought down. So you write here balance brought down, you'll write here 5656. And this will be 1st October 2019. And that's it for 7 marks. This is a fixed format. You guys should know where purchases comes. In this T account where purchases returns comes. So I'll tell you a trick for this. What you guys need to know is that whenever you are purchasing goods, that increases your liability towards the supplier. So now what's the double entry for purchasing goods? Purchases account debit, Qadir account credit. So here we are writing purchases on the credit side of Qadir's account, because our liability towards Qadir is increasing if we are purchasing goods from Qadir. Similarly, if we are returning goods, or in this case, there was an overcharge, and in that case Qadir accepted that there was an overcharge, so this is a purchases returns transaction. So in that case you'll do Qadir debit, purchases returns credit, and then your the amount that is due towards your supplier reduces because of this. That is why you need to debit this in Qadir's account. So if you think of the double entry again, Qadir debit, purchases returns credit. For the payment, it's like Qadir debit, bank credit, because bank whenever payments are made, bank is always credited at that time, and Qadir should be debited in this case, because again suppliers, your liability towards your supplier is decreasing. Discount received, Qadir debit, discount received credit. Discount received is an income account. Income accounts are always credited, and Qadir's account needs to be debited. Then they are saying, state the name of the ledger in which Aisha would maintain Qadir's account. This will be the purchases ledger. So you guys should know the subdivisions of the ledger. This I'm going to cover this particular thing, the subdivisions of the ledger. I'm going to cover it in the next video of mine. But yes, purchases ledger, because all the accounts of trade payables are recorded in the purchases ledger. So there's a purchases ledger in which there are T accounts of each of our suppliers. So whoever we are buying goods from on credit, we need to maintain their account in the purchases ledger. So thank you so much for watching. Hope this helps you guys.